Welcome back, my friends. You've already seen how ordinary objects can hide extraordinary stories. But today, I want to take you on a journey across time itself. We'll look at 3 objects: the ring, the chair, and the diary. Objects you know. Objects you probably use every day. And yet, each one carries centuries of history, changing shape and meaning with every era. So as you watch, I want you to ask yourself, what do these objects say about us, then and now? Let's begin with something small, but powerful, the ring. Nearly 5,000 years ago in ancient Egypt, rings were made of braided hemp or leather. Later, they used gold and carved scarabs into them, symbols of rebirth and protection. They weren't gifts of love, they were magical tokens, believed to hold the power of eternity. The Egyptians even wore rings on the 4th finger of the left hand, believing a vein ran directly from that finger to the heart, a tradition we still follow today. When the Romans came, they gave rings a new role. Iron bands became wedding tokens, solid and heavy, meant to last as long as the marriage. Wealthier Romans added gold, engraving the rings with images of gods, or with the faces of their beloved. And yet, in Roman law, the ring also marked property. A woman with a ring on her finger was recognized as someone's wife, bound not just by love, but by legal ownership. Fast forward to medieval Europe, and the meaning deepened. Rings were engraved with poems, with tiny prayers, even with secret codes. Some were set with garnet, ruby, or sapphire, stones thought to protect against sickness or curses. Knights carried them into battle. Kings used them to seal documents. To wear a ring wasn't just decoration, it was to carry protection, loyalty, and authority. And now, rings have transformed once more. We still exchange them as symbols of commitment, but technology has entered the circle. Smart rings can track your heartbeat, your steps, even your sleep. Some connect to your phone, letting you pay bills, unlock doors, or receive alerts. From a token of eternity, to a badge of loyalty, to a device that knows your every move, the ring has traveled a long road. The question is, what do you see when you look at yours? A memory? A promise? Or a piece of technology that might know more about you than you realize? Now, let's turn to something we take for granted every day, the chair. The earliest chairs were not for comfort, but for power. In ancient Egypt, only pharaohs and high officials sat on chairs, carved from ebony and ivory, decorated with gold. Ordinary people? They sat on the floor, on stools, or on low benches. To sit on a chair was a privilege of the elite. The Greeks and Romans carried the idea forward. The Roman curule chair was a folding seat of honor, reserved for magistrates and generals. To be granted a chair meant you had authority, command, and respect. But through the Middle Ages, the chair remained rare. In castles, massive wooden thrones were built for rulers, carved with animals and crests. Nobles had them, but common folk still sat on benches at long tables. Even in English courts, the person presiding was literally the chairman, the one who held the chair. By the Renaissance, chairs began to spread. New woodworking techniques allowed lighter, more comfortable designs. The 17th and 18th centuries in Europe gave us the ornate Louis XIV chairs of France, richly cushioned and decorated, and the simple but elegant Windsor chairs of England. A chair wasn't just for sitting anymore. It became a statement of wealth, taste, and identity. And now? Chairs are everywhere, but their role is shifting again. Today, we sit longer than ever before. Office chairs are engineered to protect our posture, while at the same time keeping us locked in work for endless hours. Gaming chairs glow with neon lights, designed not for kings or nobles, but for virtual battles and digital worlds. Once, a chair was a throne of authority. Now, it has become a throne of habit, shaping how we work, how we play, even how we live. So think about it, is your chair supporting your life, or trapping you in it? And finally, the diary. A simple book, but one that has carried some of humanity's deepest truths. The earliest diaries, dating back to the Middle Ages, weren't about secrets at all. They were records. Merchants wrote down weather, prices, travels. Japanese noblewomen in the 10th century, like say Shonagon, kept personal reflections, mixing observation with emotion, an early form of the diary we know today. By the 16th and 17th centuries, as literacy spread across Europe, diaries became more common. People began to write not for business, but for themselves. Farmers recorded harvests, scholars recorded thoughts, and ordinary men and women began to record feelings, something once reserved only for poetry. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the diary reached its peak. It became a trusted friend, a silent listener. Think of Samuel Pepys, whose detailed diary from the 1600s gave us eyewitness accounts of the Great Fire of London. Or Anne Frank, whose journal during World War II revealed a voice of innocence and courage in one of history's darkest times. A diary was more than paper. It was survival. It was memory. A place where truths could be spoken, even when the world refused to hear them. But today? The diary has gone digital. We write in apps, on laptops, in cloud accounts. Some turn their private thoughts into public blogs. Social media has become the new diary, where secrets are shared instantly with strangers around the world. And yet, is it really safer? A leather-bound diary, tucked in an attic, can survive for centuries. A digital diary? One broken phone, one forgotten password, and a lifetime of memories can disappear in seconds. So perhaps the question isn't whether we still keep diaries. It's whether our stories are truly ours, or whether we've given them away to the cloud. So whether it's the ring, the chair, or the diary, each of these objects carries a story far greater than itself. They've changed with time, from symbols of eternity, to thrones of power, to keepers of secrets, but one truth remains. Every era leaves its mark on the objects we hold. And in them, we see not just history, we see ourselves. This was then versus now. And in my next video, I'll take you into another object story, one that will surprise you even more. So stay with me. Because the everyday things around us still have 1,000 more stories to tell.